followed by pound. Enter your participant up. You have entered the meeting as a panelist. Attendees can now hear by pound.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Crypto Talk. Bitcoin Brandon here from Los Angeles, California. Facebook seems to still not want to connect me. So we are back on YouTube for tonight. Go ahead and type in the chat box where you're listening in from. I see LaShayna Robinson from Richmond, California. Icons Global Network. Good evening. Lorna Vasquez. I see Cleve Stewart trying to send me a message. I am on right now. It is through YouTube. And guys, if for whatever reason you don't get a notification that I'm on, just go to my Facebook page, because even if I'm not doing it on Facebook Live, I still post it on my Facebook page so you can see it on YouTube. And I post it in our community group, no matter if I'm Facebook or if I am on YouTube. All right, Lorna Vasquez, Denaris, Tracy Kubish, Andrea Bernard, Nicholas, Brian Mocha, Bethany Gibbs, Abdullah from Philly, Ron Ross. As a disclaimer, I'm not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share a suggestion, and it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision on which direction to move into. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space to have success. Rule number 1, education is key. Education is everything. Rule number 2, never invest money that you cannot afford to lose. Rule number 3, always get your return on investment back as fast as possible. And rule number 4, where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make that happen? Make a decision, take action, remain focused, to find a vehicle. Do not get distracted. Now, following these rules is not going to guarantee you success, but it will at least minimize your risk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most that we can ask for. So let's go ahead and get started. And again, for those of you that's just coming on, normally I do it Facebook Live, but Facebook has been messing with me. I've been calling them out the last couple of days, so I guess this is retaliation. But if you're looking for me on live and you don't get a notification, just go to either the KGS community group or my Facebook page, because even if I'm on YouTube, I post the link right there. So let me get screen share going. Today has been a wild ride on the market. Okay, share screen. Some things took place. Let's look at what the market's at right now. It's not, let me make sure I hit refresh. It's moving that fast. All right. So I've got, this is weird. CoinGecko's got this at $13,161. Bitcoin is up 41% the last 7 days, but Poloniex has it at 13,300. That's a 200-point jump. 13,300, 24-hour change is 11.5% in 24 hours. Look at this drop. And we have an article that might cover that drop. But it also seems to, since it did do that drop, because of, let me go back. Coinbase acted up. You know, Coinbase has a history. Every time some major movement's going on in the market, all of a sudden Coinbase can't act right. That has happened multiple times. Oh, anyways, let's see. Bitcoin up crypto's up 7.5% last 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance is at 63.1% and climbing. So all of this momentum is in Bitcoin. It seems to have the last hour, even though it came down by over $1,000, it is steadily rising up again. Bitcoin is up almost 2% the last 24 hours. So it had that big little dip there, or a big dip actually, but it's starting to climb right back up. And my Poloniex is not pulling up. I guess I have to refresh it. I see it $13,312. 24-hour low, 11,839. 24-hour high, 13,000. So in 24 hours, we've seen a $2,000 point swing. Almost $14,000 there, 11,800 here. Over $2,000 swing in 24 hours. The last price is at 13,293. So even hitting this low, 11,800, it's climbed back up again. See here, we had that big drop, came back up, and now it's steadily climbing up a little bit. Steadily climbing. Let's see that. All right, buy and sell orders. The bot. If that's the bot. Buy orders at 13,169. Over here, is there a sell order? Yep. Whoa, it's moving too fast. 13,460. So The bot thinks this thing's going to go back up to 13,400, another 200-point increase. And the graph is telling me, oh, we have another steep wall here. Whoa, this is flat. $13,500. If it gets past 13,500, it's going to slide to 14K again. It comes back up there. Whoa, this is a real flat, almost like a half pipe. But here's the big wall resistance, 15,891. And then on the buy side, really? That big wall's at 10,000? Okay. All right, let's get into an article here. Bitcoin falls by $1,400 after crash of major crypto exchange Coinbase. How many times since I've been in crypto, I've seen Coinbase pull something like this, especially in 2017. Every time Bitcoin went for a run, Coinbase didn't want people selling their coins. All of a sudden the site would go down, or they freeze accounts, or put holds on people trying to sell and buy. They did that when the fork took place, the first fork of Bitcoin to Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin price fell by $1,400 within minutes after a crash of United States-based cryptocurrency trading platform, Coinbase. Coinbase is first reported that it was investigating an issue in which its API and website were not functioning properly. Why not? Good evening, Tony Pinkston, Bethany, Nicholas, and Gina Muhammad. Why wasn't it functioning properly? According to the daily chart of Bitcoin price on Coin360, Bitcoin's price and market cap began to plummet around 1:25 Pacific time, just minutes before Coinbase's first announcement. By 2:13 p.m., Coinbase reported that it had identified the problem and was implementing the fix. By 2:38 p.m., the problem was reported to be resolved. A Cointelegraph correspondent with a Coinbase account checked to confirm the site was operational. Today's crash follows a degraded performance report on June 25th and another crash incident on June 24th, both of which were resolved within an hour of reporting. The crash comes on the heels of today's rally in which Bitcoin surpassed both the 12,000 and 13,000 price marks in a matter of hours. At press time, Bitcoin seems to be recovering slightly from the dip, up 0.71% in the past hour, and still up 9.48% on the day, according to data from CoinMarketCap. Bitcoin is currently trading at 12,690. That was then. Right now, it's all the way up to 13,259. So it's already gained 600, almost 700 points. So Coinbase briefly disrupted it, but it came back strong. Okay, look at this one. This is interesting title. How blockchain could decentralize the music industry. This is what we call another major disruption in the market of blockchain. Disrupting now the music industry. How so? So history, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived. But if faced with courage, need not be lived again. Maya Angelou. Okay. 30 years after the Tiananmen Square protest, the Chinese government is still working to remove any trace of evidence from its cultural history. Earlier this month, a music fan wrote, "I don't dare to say it, nor do I dare to ask," on a popular Chinese online forum in regard to the disappearance of Li Zi, a Chinese musician who dared to speak out on social issues and democracy in his songs. 3 months ago, Li's tour was unexpectedly canceled. His social media accounts went offline, and his entire discography was scrubbed from China's music streaming platforms. This involuntary ghosting isn't isolated. The Chinese government has been cracking down on artists and activists like Li in preparation for the 30th anniversary of the Tiananmen Square pro-democracy protest that took place on June 4th, 1989. You guys remember that? I was a kid. I just remember seeing one guy standing in front of an army of tanks. And I was like, what in the world's going on? It's reported that China's Communist Party has detained dozens of activists and artists who have mentioned the atrocities of the massacre. It's no surprise that the Chinese government has never acknowledged that day or the thousands of civilians who were shot and killed at the hands of its army. This isn't uncommon for countries with one-party systems and regimes that want to control information. But while it attempts to erase the collective memory of the Tiananmen protests, artists and activists like Li are fighting to remember, to ensure that something so dark would never take place at the hands of a governing body again. Tech giant censorship. Unfortunately, tech giants in the United States fundamentally aid in the disenfranchisement of creators like Li, and therefore, in the suppression of democracy. In the early spring, Hong Kong Free Press reported that Apple Music had removed Hong Kong-based singer Jackie Chan's song for its reference to Tiananmen Square. The youth are angry. Heaven and earth are weeping. How did our land become a sea of blood? How did the path home become a path of no return? Pro-democracy singers Anthony Wong and Dennis Ho have also been removed from Apple Music in China. The Apple App Store removed applications from its Chinese offering that discussed the Tiananmen Square protests, including the New York Times, Radio Free Asia, and Tibetan News. Twitter recently refused to approve an emoji marking the 30th anniversary of the protests. Microsoft and LinkedIn steer clear of talking about their policies in China with the media. You get the picture. The tech industry has failed artists like Li Zi, Jackie Chan, Anthony Wong, and Dennis Ho by aiding in the suppression of information and free speech. If the U.S. is truly a nation that values democracy, freedom, and humanity, the technology industry should wield its power to combat censorship. Centralized versus decentralized services. Right now, music services cannot and will not protect the voices of artists worldwide because the interests of the powerful will always win over those of creators on centralized services. That's why we must put the power back in the hands of the people by using decentralized services and blockchain technology. Because companies like Apple Music are centralized, they must comply with local regulations to remain operational. However unjust that regulation may be, this means they rapidly and readily succumb to the pressure of censors of many kinds, including one-party states like China. Creators don't have any say in how their content is used or whether it stays available at all. This is true because it's playing out right before our very eyes. The next generation of music services should use technology like blockchains to combat censorship. Decentralizing the control of music distribution and content ownership gives artists, fans, and community members the freedom to express themselves and interact directly with one another on their own terms. That is true. With no central authority, a government or corporation, a decentralized network can protect controversial creators from being silenced. Well, you can protect their music from getting taken. I mean, the government can still have somebody disappear. Meanwhile, centralized services like Apple Music are required to delist content when told to do so. With decentralized control, nobody would be capable of this. Li Zi's music would never have been taken down, and the history of the Tiananmen Square pro-democracy protest would never be erased. So use cases. This isn't just a dream or a manifesto. Companies and projects are already using blockchain to solve some of the music industry's biggest issues. Company Audius is a decentralized music sharing protocol and the first to deliver a social music experience that directly connects artists and fans. Open Music Initiative is using blockchain to identify music creators so they can receive the desired royalty payments. Smackathon, a competition created by Pitbull, is working to bring the top decentralized streaming services to music. So music on the blockchain. What exactly does music on the blockchain mean? What would the industry look like? It would be a decentralized community of artists, fans, and developers sharing and defending the world's music in accordance with the following principles. Number one, decentralization. Members of the network will operate it, maintaining control of their data. With no central authority, it will be censorship resistant, secure, and community driven. Two, open source. Anyone can contribute ideas, build new clients or features, or host nodes on the network. And three, aligned incentives. Everyone who contributes value is fairly compensated. Musicians will be able to generate immutable and time-stamped records of their creative works, making content ownership publicly verifiable and unchangeable. With a network that is decentralized, content addressed and secured by a blockchain, content cannot be tampered with. If a creator elects, their content will remain live forever. Content moderation will be community-driven, with disputes being resolved by a jury of peers on the network. For example, this arbitration system could resolve claims of piracy or determine revenue shares for derivative content. No government intervention or centralized entity will be able to call the shots on what can and can't be taken down in the way they do so today, to silence the dissenting voices. It's time we protect vulnerable creators with censorship-resistant technology. Let's enable artists to distribute what they like, when they like, to whom they like, making it impossible for a government to decide which content can and cannot be listened to by its citizens. What effect do you think blockchain will have on the music industry? Okay, that's just letting them know. So yeah, it's not just going to be the music industry, it's going to be the movie industry next. Movies on the blockchain. All right, that is all I had for this evening. I think we got to watch very closely the market to see how this can recover, because it was almost at $14,000 before Coinbase went down. The market dropped 12,000 region, and it has slowly started to come back up again. But now we're going into a squeeze. Watch the candlesticks. We're going into a squeeze right now. So when that happens, it can go either way, up or down. This squeeze happened, but if you notice, this dip below the middle Bollinger Bar, it tried to come back up, it couldn't pass the middle, and boom, dropped lower. But previously, look at this squeeze right here. This squeeze happened, and it shot up and just kept going. And then Coinbase, drop all the way down. All right, I hope you guys learned something new. As always, that is the point. I should be back tomorrow morning for early morning crypto talk. I will try again with Facebook to see if the third time's a charm. If not, I know they're really messing with me. But I'll still do the crypto talk through YouTube, and I'll post it on Facebook. So you'll be able to see that. Wow, that price just changed quick. It went down. What's going on here? It got 4 candlesticks in the red, but it's still squeezing, so we'll see what happens on this. So I hope you guys learned something new. As always, that is the point. I learned something new. I'll see you all tomorrow morning. Bitcoin Brandon out. Good night. Bye-bye.